Mushrooms, leeks, potatoes, and slowpoke tails are the 4 rare ingredients in this game. Today we're going to talk about which one you should be unlocking first, why you should try to unlock them ASAP, even if you don't use the Pokemon on your team, and finally, a way to dump all your useless candies like Gulpin. Now let's start with the reason why you really do want to unlock these ingredients as soon as you can. And you only have to do this once. So what I mean by that is, for Slowbro here to reach level 30, and I only need to do this once, ingredient tickets will start to drop Slowpoke tails. Whereas before you unlocked it, it would never drop. And dropping a Slowpoke tail times 5 is worth a lot more than dropping any other ingredient, because of Slowpoke tail's strength per ingredient. So thank you, Dan, for submitting this research earlier on. But not only that, your ingredient magnet-esque Pokemon like Charmander, Charizard line, or Blastoise line, or Sphere line, those Pokemon will start to drop the rare ingredients like Slowpoke tail from their ingredient magnet-esque skill, making this skill much more valuable than if it were to just drop non-rare ingredients. But is Slowpoke tail the one that you should be unlocking first out of all 4 rare ingredients? And I refer you to this chart from Cerebi.net, is that Slowpoke tail does give the highest strength, base strength, per ingredient, 2 to 3 times more than the average ingredient, whereas Soft Potato, for example, only gives 124 strength, which is actually less than some of the base strength of some common ingredients like Fiery Herb or Soothing Cacao. So is Slowpoke tail the one that you should be unlocking first? By base strength, it would make sense because you get the most strength per ingredient drop. So if you get it from Ingredient Magnet S or if you get it from ingredient tickets, it's going to be much more valuable than unlocking any other rare ingredient. Unfortunately, there is a problem. And while I love Chisao's dishes chart, we don't need to look at everything today. We only need to look at the dishes that require the rare ingredients. So what I've done is I've extracted only the rare ingredient dishes and put them all in one place for you guys to see. Now, I just noticed the poor formatting with the little black line there and a typo here, which I'll fix up after this video. But you can see from this chart that amongst the 3 dish types, curry, salads, and desserts, there are 2 rare ingredients that are never used in one of the dish types. Desserts does not use any leek or tail. So if you're stuck with making desserts for several weeks in a row, it's not a great idea to unlock Slowpoke tail first or large leeks. So then you might go, well, why don't I do mushroom first? Now, mushroom has a different problem. Even though mushroom is used in curries, it always needs a second ingredient, a second rare ingredient like potato or leek. So in other words, if you're not ready to unlock potato or leeks, there's no point of unlocking mushrooms during a curry week. And that leaves us with potato being the most well-rounded rare ingredient to unlock, because you can use it in any week, and it's not restricted by needing a second ingredient. And there's a fair few dishes that can use potato. Of course, the main downside is that potato has the lowest strength of all the rare ingredients. I guess that's just the way the developers have decided to balance the game. You simply can't have everything. But don't let me tell you which ingredient to unlock first. Let my Discord members come together and vote on it. This is before I made this video, so it's not biased in any way by what I've said in this video. Most members have said that potato should be unlocked first. A lot have said that Slowpoke tail should be unlocked first. But not many have agreed that mushroom or leeks should be unlocked first. So my recommendation is to start with potato so that you're not stuck not being able to use some rare ingredients on dessert weeks. Then unlocking Slowpoke tail because they're just that strong. Followed by mushrooms because several potato dishes actually require mushrooms. Leaving leek to last because then you would have unlocked mushroom for this ninja salad or ninja curry. 1 for potato, 2 for tail, 3 for mushrooms, and 4 for leeks. Now, how do you go about finding which Pokemon to actually unlock the ingredient with? The first most obvious answer is if you were already going to raise a Pokemon. So for example, this Slowbro here is quite good because I've got Berry Finding. It has Ingredient Finding, which is great because I want Slowpoke Tails at some point. Helping Speed and Ingredient Finder S. Nothing really harmful here, so all really good stuff. Since I was always going to raise this Pokemon anyway, why don't I just dump all the candies I've accumulated over time on this Slowbro? But just make sure that your Pokemon also has the rare ingredient in the level 30 slot, not the level 60 slot. Otherwise, this obviously wouldn't work. And a quick and easy way to scan all your Pokemon that have the rare ingredients is to filter by the rare ingredients. So other options I have is, for example, this Duck Trio I was already using to raise it to level 30 to get 3 leeks, or this Gengar here that would give me 4 mushrooms at level 30. And since I was always using them for farming anyway, there's no harm in unlocking these 2 first for their level 30 ingredients. But there is another way you could consider, is to look at all your most useless Pokemon. For example, I've got a Gulpin here who actually unlocks mushrooms at level 30. Now, because it's not an ingredient specialist, Gulpin is a skills specialist, the amount of mushrooms that it drops when it farms is only ×1. But that doesn't really matter to me. I'm not going to use it for farming. I'll only be using it just to unlock the ingredient, so that at least my ingredient magnet S and my tickets will drop mushrooms. So if you have an excess of Gulpin candies, or anything else that you might not commonly use or ever use, and I'm going to take Wobbuffet as a relatively good example here as well, you could use one of these useless Pokemon to unlock the level 30 ingredient. Of course, not to the extent where you have to dump handy candies on them. As for potatoes, you could consider using Riolu, and I know a lot of people like Lucario, so I might get a lot of hate for saying this, but you could dump your candies just to unlock Potato with Riolu or Lucario. But if you're not looking at dumping useless candies, your main choices for the 4 rare ingredients, so let's go through them one by one. So for Leek, your main Pokemon that unlock Leek at level 30 are either Diglett Line or Ditto. And that's easy to remember because they both start with D. Some Pokemon do unlock it at level 60, for example, Weepinbell's Line can also unlock Leek at level 60, and it unlocks Potato at level 30, as well as Mr. Mime unlocking Leek at level 60. But I'd say that mainly if you're after Leek, Diglett's Line would be a good one to go for. And if you're lucky enough, you're going to get 2 Leeks at level 30 and level 60. As for potatoes, you've got 2 fair options. One is either the Geodude line or the Weepinbell line, with Weepinbell also, like I said earlier, unlocking Leek at a later stage. But of course, you always have to check your own game because these are RNG. You might not get Leek or potatoes for the unlocks. The other 2 options you've got for potato is either Kangaskhan, but that's a lot rarer to get as a Pokemon, or Mr. Mime. And just like Weepinbell, Mr. Mime can unlock Potato at level 30 and Leek at level 60. So I got pretty unlucky with the ingredient rolls here for this Mime Jr. As for tasty mushrooms, and I'm only talking about ingredient specialists here by the way, Gengar would be the one to go for because Gengar is not only super fast with its very low frequency, but also unlocks mushrooms at level 30. And while Gengar can also unlock Mushroom at level 60, I didn't get it in this case. And while you can also get mushrooms in some other Pokemon like Skill Specialist Sableye or Gulpin, they are not ingredient specialists, so they won't be dropping as much of them if you're using it to farm. Now, I don't have an Absol here, but out of all the ingredient specialists, the one that drops the most mushroom at level 60 is Absol. In fact, Absol's a bit of an outlier, so even if you were to roll apples on the level 60 unlock, it would drop 12 apples instead. In fact, it is the highest number of ingredient drops per trigger of all Pokemon known right now. And of course for Slowpoke tail, you've only got two options. It's either the Slowbro line or Ditto. But for Ditto, it is a level 60 unlock. So to summarize what I just said, Gengar, best mushroom farmer at level 30. For potatoes, you have several options. You can go for Victory Bell, Golem, or Mr. Mime. I would say Golem because you can use it in Taupe Hollow. Victory Bell and Mr. Mime are not favorite berry available yet in any of the set berry islands. Duck Trio for Leek, and Slowbro or Slowking for tail. But of course, the catch here is that Slowbro is not an ingredient specialist. While Ditto is an ingredient specialist, it only unlocks tail at level 60. So I've put down alternatives down here because they are rarer Pokemon to catch. So a lot of you might still not have these Pokemon or just don't have the candies to invest all the way. Leaving this list, the main list, for the rare ingredients specialists. So I'll get these charts available on my Discord, but you can just screenshot this as well. And that's all I have to say for today. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.